Hi everyone, welcome back to my vlog. I'm Robyn, or Hobbit's Reading List, and we are going to do a 2-week vlog because next Tuesday, last Tuesday by the time you see this, my TBR will have gone up. So I'm just gonna keep vlogs on Tuesdays, and so we're doing a 2-week vlog, which is good because I don't anticipate a lot of reading. So this way, at least it keeps things nicely together. But that's the plan. So let's just get into it. Okay, I'm really getting tired of saying like, yeah, there won't be a lot of reading this week. I'm so busy between appointments and school and work and all this sort of stuff. I'm really holding out for summer. I'm gonna read so much. You guys are gonna get whiplash. But as of right now, this is kind of where we are. So I have read 2 things. I read a chapter of my literary theory book. So I'm almost done. I have 1 chapter left, which will be great. Love that for me because it's interesting. My brain doesn't do theory well. It's very concrete. And so, yeah, it's just a difficult thing for me to wrap my head around. So I did that last night, and I'll finish literary theory this week, because I think for the class that I have on Thursday, I have to read that last chapter. So, yay! Other than that, I listened to 2 more chapters of Giovanni's Room. We technically still don't know why Giovanni is being executed, but we're at the point where their relationship is starting to break down a bit. Obviously, things are going to happen because I have 2 chapters left. So I can't give a lot of detail, but if you haven't read it, Giovanni's Room is written by James Baldwin. It was published in 1956. It is about this expatriate living in Paris named David. He's bisexual. There aren't really labels used in the book, but he is attracted to both men and women. But it's the 1950s, and so his attraction to men makes him, have some internalized homophobia. But he enters into an affair with this guy named Giovanni, and we find out in the first chapter that Giovanni is going to be executed, but we don't know why. And yeah, it's just about their relationship and how they got together and how it ended, and it's interesting because of when it was published for me, because it's very explicitly queer, and so I'm like, oh, and it was published in 1956, which is amazing. But that's why it's interesting. The story itself is not super interesting to me, so I'm not predicting a high rating when I finish it tomorrow. But what can you do? That's about it, honestly. That's about it. I wanted to start the vlog, but I know tomorrow I should finish 2 books. Tomorrow I should finish Giovanni's Room and my literary theory book, which is awesome. I love that for me. March, it's so weird because for the past 3 years, this included, so I guess previous 2 Marches, have also been my lowest reading months. It's so interesting. I don't know why that has happened, but March is not a good reading month for me. I think this March is slightly better than the previous 2. But yeah, it's just a really interesting thing that I've noticed. I can't explain it. But the weather is turning, the sun is coming out more. It is officially spring. So I'm hoping that will energize me to get through the rest of the semester and maybe read some more during it. So let's see. I finished 2 books yesterday, as I predicted. I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about them just because I think I've made my feelings fairly clear, and I also only have 2 bars battery. So first, I finished listening to Giovanni's Room. I think I may have mentioned this in the last vlog, but I could appreciate absolutely the fact that this came out in 1956 and how upfront it was about gay relationships and gay culture, and I have to believe that some of it was accurate to real life in Paris and being gay at that time, or being queer at that time. I can absolutely appreciate that and still not like the book. Like, the main character, David, I just felt like he was I'm gonna try to swear not so much. I felt he was an a-hole. There was nothing redeeming about it. He was so selfish, and the few moments where he wasn't selfish and was like, oh wow, I really hurt this person, or if I do this, this will really hit that person. Like, even though he had those thoughts, it was too late. He was already hurting them. And he didn't do anything to try to help Giovanni or Hella, who is his fiance that he had an affair on. Who it being entirely from David's perspective, and David being a really crappy person, meant that I just automatically was not going to like this book. Like, I know there are people that, like, don't need sympathetic characters in order to enjoy a book, and that's great. That is awesome. I'm not one of those people. I can't do that. Like, I felt so bad for Giovanni and Hella, and even David's friend Jack, who he just crapped all over. Like, yeah. So what did I give it? I don't even remember what I gave it. Hold on. I think I gave it a 2.5. Yeah, I gave it 2.5 stars. I feel like that's pretty accurate because, like, the writing is good. The atmosphere, James Baldwin is a phenomenal writer. I think that's part of the reason I'm disappointed. Because I read short stories by James Baldwin and I really liked them. And so I know he's a good writer. I have a lot of interest in his stories. And the fact that David is just a crappy character, it was so disappointing. But take David out of it, the story was really interesting. It's also not much of a story. Okay, now I'm down to 1 bar. So, yeah, 2.5 stars. That sucked. The other book was better. I finished reading my literary theory book. So, it's nonfiction. It's an educational textbook. Like, it was only gonna be so good. I did think it was well written. It was obviously well researched, and it's very informative. It did what it was supposed to do. I did feel like some of the writing was a little convoluted, and I don't know if that's just because I was reading it on my phone, so maybe I was just getting lost in like the page of text, or if it was the writing. I don't know if it's just my brain not understanding literary theory. Who knows? So I gave it 3.5 stars, which I think for a textbook, not bad. It is lower than I typically give nonfictions. It's usually like a 4-star. I would say it's probably like a high 3.5. Closer to a 4, but I kept getting lost. So, yeah, so there's that. Other than that, my plan is to start listening to Circe today, and yeah, that'll be fun. I'll be very interested. I wonder if it'll destroy me as much as Song of Achilles. So, let's find out. Okay, so I just finished filming my TBR and I was about to like put the camera away. I'm like, no, wait, I had to film a clip because I haven't talked since Thursday, I believe. I have started Circe by Madeline Miller. I know I like Madeline Miller's writing. I had a vague idea that I had started reading Circe before, like years ago, like 15 years ago. One, I don't think that's mathematically possible. And two, after starting Circe, I don't think that's true. So, Circe follows Circe. It's great naming. It's a great title for the book. But it examines her existence outside of the Odyssey, which is where I know her from. I didn't know anything else about Circe and the other myths that she might have been in, except for the Odyssey and, Odysseus and the pigs. So it is really interesting. It's also just kind of depressing. Circe's life is not great. Like, she's shit on by pretty much every other god. Yeah, it's really rough. So, like, I listened to, 4 chapters on Thursday, and then on my drive to work yesterday, I think I listened to maybe another 4. And when I got out of work yesterday, I was in, a really good mood, and I just didn't want to listen to it, because I thought it might bring me down. So, I chose not to listen to it, so I'm at 23% right now. It's not often I walk out of work in, a good mood, so that's why I sort of made that choice. I'm anticipating listening to a lot more tomorrow. But, yeah, I was just like, yeah, I don't want to bring my mood down that much. But I am enjoying it, so as of now, some things have happened. And Circe is now on her island that we know her from. So I think it'll be really interesting to see her interacting with, obviously other people that show up at her island, because that does eventually happen at some point, as well as, of course, Odysseus. And I did sort of read the Circe Wikipedia page just so I know, more information. And I am looking forward to it because I didn't know a lot. And I honestly, I haven't read the Odyssey since high school, so I didn't remember a lot of it. And not that I remember a lot of it now, but I think, depressingness aside, and maybe that feeling will go away as Circe becomes more of her own and steps into her power and isn't surrounded by all these gods, nymphs, demigods, pretty much anyone who has any sort of divinity. They all looked down on her as inferior, and that was just really upsetting after a while, even her siblings. So, yeah, that was just, depressing. But maybe now that she's away from all that, because she's in exile, it won't be as depressing anymore. Other than that, I read a little bit more of The Body. I'm still not done. My dad's very upset that I keep mentioning The Body in these vlogs, but then I don't actually go into it. It's because I'm planning it to separate video. I'm very sorry for anyone else who has that feeling, but keep your eyes out for another video just on The Body. And then I also started reading The Monk, which I'm reading for one of my classes. I think I'm on page 19 or something. I'm not that far into it. I know the story already because we've talked about it in class. So I know what happens. And for anyone who hasn't read it, because it was written in the late 1700s, The Monk is about this guy, Ambrosio, who is a monk at an abbey. And it's all about his downfall from this very pious-ish person, pious, but maybe for the wrong reasons, and his downfall into just absolute damnation. So, my friend Ellis described it as fun, and my professor has said that it's, of the 5 books that we are reading this semester, it's her favorite. And so, But like based off of what has been said about it, I'm just like, okay. Like, it's not happy fun time. And there are content warnings, so if you have any interest in Gothic literature, like, do check out the content warnings first, because I know there is some sexual assault in there. But yes, that is what I have read. Yep. I'm like, is there anything else? There's really not. I've read some of the Torah, which is good. I'm still behind. I think I'm still like 3 sections behind, but I read some. But yeah, that's really all I've read. I keep looking at my library, and this semester it has just absolutely destroyed me. My library is a mess. Like, I'm sure you can see a little bit in the background, but that's not even all of it. I can't wait till I have a moment to clean. Okay, but that's all I've read. So I'm gonna go and cook dinner, maybe read a little bit more, and I will check in with you guys later. Okay, I am having a time. I have not read any more of The Body or the Bunk. I have continued listening to Circe. I'm over halfway through. Let me see how far I am. Okay, I'm 70% through. I have 3.5 hours, but I'm listening on 1.25 speed, so I should finish it tomorrow. I don't remember the last time I filmed. I'm so glad I had already decided that this was a 2-week vlog. Oh, the last time I filmed had to be Saturday? Yeah, okay. Everything I said before is accurate. I haven't picked up a physical book. Okay. I'm really glad I made this a 2-week vlog because Sunday afternoon, a really bad storm came through my town. Not quite a tornado, but very close. And lots of trees fell down. There are branches everywhere. Like, we're still cleaning up. Houses, from what I can tell, have been fine, but it's mainly a lot of like trees were uprooted and everything, including the one behind my house, and it fell onto a power line. So we've had no power since Sunday afternoon. If you saw my community post last week, you already know this. I don't know when I'll be able to edit because I filmed my TBR and the next day the power went out and it's still not back. Like, it's light right now because the sun is up. That's how daytime works. But I have no power. So I can't edit. And I can't edit on my laptop because my laptop does not have that capability. And even if I could, which I can't, oh, no, I guess I could figure out a workaround for that. I was gonna say, like, I can't transfer the footage from my camera to my laptop without my desktop, which I could figure out a workaround about that. But either way, my laptop doesn't have that capability. So I just can't edit. And it's really upsetting me. Yesterday, it was my day off. I started the morning off with going to class and then getting a tooth extracted. That was fun. It actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But with my tooth getting extracted and then the power still being out, I just didn't do anything. Like, I could have read. I could have read for my Gothic Lit class. I could have worked on the essay that's due next Tuesday. I could have worked on the essay proposal that's due Sunday. I could have done anything else to be productive, and instead I watched Heartstopper all day. Which, in my defense, I think is somewhat productive because I am writing an essay about it. But still. I got a wee bit depressed, and I don't know if I'm over it. I messaged my personal trainer this morning because I sent him an account of what I eat just to look at patterns. And I included a message. I'm like, I'm not even trying at this point. Like, I can't cook, and I can't go somewhere that will give me leftovers because the power is down. So I'm not even doing anything. And he's like, okay. But yeah, so all that to say, all I've done is listen to Circe. I'm learning things about Circe. Obviously, like, this is fiction, and the myths, you know, are very fluid. There are lots of different versions of things. I am enjoying this more now that Circe is on her island. She's not being influenced by, like, the gods as much. Just checking the time. So I am, ow. I moved my jaw in a way that hurt. I am enjoying it. At this point, I don't know what is spoilers and what isn't, because for me, one, I know a lot about Greek mythology, but I didn't know a lot about Circe. And so I don't think I can operate under the assumption that other people know a lot about Greek mythology or about Circe. So I can't give details, but she has met Odysseus at this point. They had that whole thing. Obviously different from how it goes in the myth. Not too different. So it's really interesting. This is why I appreciate Madeline Miller's writing, is because I know that she's done the research and she's put together a story that makes the most sense based off of the different versions of myths. So I just think it's really cool. I honestly, like, I felt like I had read this before. I don't think I did. I don't know if maybe there's a different book about Circe, like 15-ish years ago that was popular. I don't know. But who knows? I am enjoying this. I would predict like a 4-star. But I guess we'll see tomorrow. I'll have that confirmed. But that's about it. I am gonna try to read something today. I have like a break in between meetings because I'm still working. I'm just using my hotspot. I have a break in between meetings today. So I'm gonna run to Starbucks, charge my phone for a bit, and then I'm also gonna plug in an LED book light that I got for the holidays so that I can hopefully read tonight when it's completely dark. I'm having a great time. So I will check in later, hopefully with power on, and let you know what I read. Or at the very least that I finished Circe. Good morning, everyone. I have power again, so that's great. I'm still very stressed because I have like homework and stuff, but I do feel a little bit better now that I have power and I don't need to be constantly running out to cafes to like charge my phone and laptop and everything. To celebrate, I finished reading The Body last night. It took me way longer than it should have, but I'm glad I finished it. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 5 stars. I'm just gonna say that right away because I'm not gonna talk about The Body a lot in this video because, again, I'm gonna have a whole separate video. But I gave it 5 stars. I knew that I would. I've read it before. I really enjoyed it. I still really enjoyed it. It's, like I said, or maybe I didn't say it in this video, I don't remember. It's very much like a comfort read to me. Like, even though I had read The Body, like, I think when I was like 15 or 16, and I haven't read it since, like, it's still very comforting just because I have such a comfort response from Stand By Me. Even though, given the subject matter, maybe it shouldn't be comforting, but I don't know, but it is. So, of course, now that I've read The Body, I really want to watch Stand By Me again. So maybe I'll try to talk Chris into like a movie night tomorrow night and make him watch it with me. But yeah, that's what I read. I did not finish Circe. I have an hour left. I did the math wrong. I thought I would have only like 20 minutes, but no. So I will finish listening to Circe today, and I will check in, you know, later today with what I'm gonna give it. I predict a 4-star. I could be wrong, but I kind of predict a 4-star just because I am enjoying it. I'm learning a lot. I think that the different myths and everything have been collated very well. Is collated the right word? I don't know. Combined. So, I think a 4-star, but I will give the official rating later. And then, well, I mean, I'm going to check in later, so I guess I don't need to say it now. But once I finish Circe, because I'll finish that on the way to work, on the way home, I will start listening to Cat's Cradle, which is the first book from my April TBR. So, yay, progress. All right, I will check in with you later. Good morning. I have finished Circe. Pretty much everything I said yesterday is still true, including my prediction. I did give it 4 stars. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had posted on my Instagram that I finished it, and my friend Stephanie was like, what did you think? Because our tastes don't often align, and so it's always exciting when we read the same book. I was thinking about it clearly. Clearly, the book about Circe that I thought I had read and not liked, like 15 years ago, definitely not Circe, because Circe came out in 2018. And this, I can picture myself reading this book in my, like, first apartment as an adult. And so that would have been, like, what, 2010, 2011? Definitely not Circe. I'm really curious what book it would have been.
Moments later.
I have no idea. Surprisingly, typing in books about Circe, don't come up with much that isn't Circe. So I still have no idea what book it is. If you remember a book that was, I think, popular around like 2011, I'm pretty sure it was about Circe. I know it was about mythology at least, but I'm pretty sure it was about Circe. Let me know, because this is going to drive me crazy. Anyway. I also, on my way home, I did start listening to Cat's Cradle by Vonnegut. I listened to the first 15 chapters. That doesn't sound as impressive as you think it is, because each chapter is anywhere from a minute to 5 minutes long. So I think I made it through, I'm not going to do that math, like 40-ish minutes? I will say, I don't, like, this book has, oh my god. This book has 127 chapters. I will say, I'm not a huge fan of, like, super short chapters like that. I know they make the book go fast, but when you're listening to an audiobook, especially, like, the way I do it, where, you know, I don't listen to audiobooks the entire time, right? Like, I listen until the length of time that I have left in the drive is too long to listen to a full chapter. Well, with this, I would pretty much be listening to a full hour and 20 minutes each way. And I can't do that. Especially because, okay, so Cat's Cradle is about the narrator, who I don't think we know his name yet, if we ever do. And sort of him, like, interviewing people about this guy who participated in the Manhattan Project. And he's trying to look at, like, the human side of, like, the creators of the atomic bomb. And I think eventually in the story, because it's mentioned in the blurb that, like, this guy that he's interviewing people about also created something that would send the world, like, into an ice age or some sort of coldness, end of the world thing. So, yeah, it's just not my... I'm realizing I may not like Vonnegut as much as I thought I did. I mentioned in my TBR, I really love Slaughterhouse-Five. But so far, the other books that I've read by Vonnegut, which is Galapagos and Bluebeard, I think that's it. They were fine. Ugh, that sucks. It's like thinking you like something. Like, for a really long time, I thought I liked eggplant. And then I tried eggplant in multiple, like, situations in different forms. And it turns out I don't. And it's like, it's really disappointing. So, yeah. I will continue listening to it. I will probably aim to, like, listen to an hour of the drive each way. I don't think I can do a full hour and 20 minutes. Based off the first 15 out of 127 chapters, I don't necessarily have high hopes for this book, but it is short. I'm doing a lot of driving on Monday, so I should get through a good chunk of it, and we'll see what I listen to next. Okay. Morning. Okay. I am ready to put these last 2 weeks behind me. This past week was a little rough, but I don't want to say it's over now, because I feel like I'm jinxing myself, but I finished the essay that I had to write. I finished another assignment. I finished 2 books? 1 book? 3 books? I don't even remember at this point. But I'm gonna wrap up this vlog. I did listen to more of Cat's Cradle yesterday. I listened to about 25%, so total I've listened to 36%. I was hoping I would finish it today. I don't think that I will, but I will probably finish it tomorrow. But it's interesting. I'm still not a fan of the short chapters. Like, I think I mentioned that, like, every chapter is anywhere from, like, a minute to, like, 7 minutes. And I think if I was reading the physical book, that would not bother me. But I'm not reading the physical book. I'm listening to the audiobook. And so it's just a little annoying. But it's fine. I've started listening to, like, because I can't just do an hour and 20 minutes straight, which is like the length of time it takes to get to work or back. So I've listened to 15-minute chunks. Not 15 minutes. That's not long enough. 15 chapter chunks. So it's roughly like 40 minutes. So probably I will listen to the entire 40-minute drive to school and back. But he is the main character, the narrator. Yeah. Don't know if I would classify him as the main character. The narrator has been going around interviewing people about this guy who worked on the atomic bomb, Frank Honecker. And he interviews one of, like, Honecker's colleagues. And he hears that Honecker, before he died, had this idea, or he had been asked to, like, make something that would help, I believe, the Marines in, like, combat. Because they're getting trapped in, like, mud. And so Honecker's idea was to have an element that you could put in the combat area and it would make it all solid. So it would make it ice. However, it would spread. As the narrator sort of illustrated of, like, okay, so say, like, the swamp or whatever that they're in, like, that turns to ice. Okay, fine. What about the river that feeds the swamp? Well, that would be turned to ice. Okay. What about the lake that feeds the river? That would turn to ice. And then thus, further and further, it would cover the earth. The colleague tells the narrator that this combat, or this element, was just, like, a mental exercise. Frank Honecker didn't actually create it. Yes, he did. And his children have it. His children are all adults, but they all have something interesting going on with them. But, so it's called Ice 9, and I believe the narrator at this point doesn't know that Iceland was actually created, but he is interested in it. But we also have confirmation that like Iceland was created. Each of his 3 children have like a part of it. So don't know what's gonna happen there. It's interesting. It's not gonna be a 5-star, but I'm, you know, it's okay. I'm enjoying it. I'm not enjoying listening to it. I would enjoy it a lot more if I was reading it, but I cannot do that right now. So check in next week if you want to see my final thoughts on Cat's Cradle, because I will definitely finish it. Probably tomorrow. Other than that, like the video, because I know it was a little chaotic and a little rough, but I do appreciate it. Leave me a comment if you're a student wrapping up your semester, because I know it's very busy and you have my sympathies. Otherwise, subscribe, click notification bell, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.